All right. Oh, look, got Chuck coming in. Cool.
All right. Well, we'll go ahead and get started and get going. So, first of all, if you want to look at let me move that other way for you. Okay. There we go. All right. So, if you want to look at the actual definition of there's two different definitions. One, procrastination. What is it? Well, on here it says the action of delaying or postponing something. Pretty common sense, right? The definition of perfectionism is refusal to accept any standard short of perfection. So that would be the definition of that. Typical definition. However, the truth from our perspective is it's fear at the core. So at the core of it is fear, and you'll see why. I mean, I have these diagrams and things that I brought up, and I'm going to share with you guys on the screens here. But the truth is, it's fear. Basically, a perfectionist mindset brings stress and can only lead to discontent and frustration. Perfectionism often involves raising the bar to absurd heights and standards, striving to that's basically efforts that most people can achieve.
Only God can. That's the aspect of so many aspects of when we're striving for perfectionism, we raise the bar so high that it's not even achievable. It's at a point that only God can achieve it. Mm-hmm. And when we're at that place, that brings on a whole new problem when we're trying to operate and be God. If we're trying to be God's level, there's a problem there. Right, we're not God.
Nope.
So nope. Not at all.
There's a statement that I heard once, get off his throne, it's not yours. When you're trying to take on too much stuff, it's a good thing to remember I got to get off his throne. It's not mine to bear, because we can't handle his throne, to be honest with you, not even close. It's laughable. But the truth is, where does it come from? Well, it comes from mostly social programming. What do I mean by that? Parents, siblings, school, childhood, society, Facebook, gurus, people that that push the success line. I don't really care for a lot of people know who Gary Vaynerchuk is. I don't really, even though I agree with a lot of his marketing tactics, I don't really necessarily agree with his mindset on a lot of things. When it comes to some of the stuff like this, because it produces let's work 18-hour days, and it's just it doesn't promote our values and culture.
No.
And so it's more about just money, honestly.
And there's a lot of different aspects that come in for this with social programming. When you really dive into where does this I have to be perfect come from? Not only does it come from fear, but the whole parents and those kind of in school, those aspects. And it could be, there's different sides, and it's different for everyone. That's why it's important to understand where you come from. For me, I actually do in certain areas. And so if you're listening and you're just this may not really be my thing. I don't feel like I have to be perfect. Typically there's an area in your life that you feel like you have to be perfect. Some of you, it's all areas, and you're paralyzed and you don't move.
So people could just be mom, right?
Some people, it's just in work or just in the relationship. It could vary. Right. So mine started in school, and and it transferred over to my knowledge base. Mm-hmm. So therefore, because I didn't make good grades at little, I know it's kind of irrelevant, but it transitioned into no, I'm going to work hard, I'm going to do well. And then that transferred over into people labeling me as the smarty pants, and just what are your parents still call me Miss Summa Cum Laude.
I can't pronounce it.
I can't. Well, they
spell it.
They blah, 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 but yeah. It's still to this day they care. Oh, you got something wrong, and it's
if I get something wrong or spell, it's just no surprise.
Yeah, it's they expect that from Tommy, but heaven forbid if Desnica does it, and it's just so it's these different events so throughout whatever you experience that put on that. So that was something that I had to work through, because can you all imagine if I had a fear of anything in my knowledge, if I had to be perfect, and that means everything I came to you guys and talked to you, coached you through would have to be perfect. How long do you think it would take me to get back to you on anything from homework to Voxers to I'd be 3 days later, I might have and you're like, oh, it doesn't matter. Like, oh, well, I have the perfect response. Like,
Right.
it would not be good.
There's times that perfectionism in some essences can come into play on jobs, and it can be beneficial, don't get me wrong, on some things. But there's aspects of it, there's way more downsides to it than there are benefits. So childhood, like for me, like childhood events, like for me, a lot of my stuff goes back to third grade. I just remember visually, and if you haven't done the Gestalt, definitely recommend doing that. That helped me like really get back to that.
Mm-hmm.
But going back, I can visually remember it, sitting in third grade, blue chairs, brown desk, smell of the classroom, hate that smell.
Gross.
Sitting in the desk and everything, and then sitting there and just like I'm the only one. I'm the only one not done with a test. Everybody else is up and gone, and I'm just still on like crap. What's the answer to this? And then I just like A, B, C, D, E, F, right? Like just like answering everything. Screw it, because you get embarrassed, right? And on top of that, I had, well, most of you know that I had, a lot of issues with like my brain and stuff, being on seizures and stuff. And then I was not successful for 9 years. So there's a lot of adversity, but it drove me to not wanting to feel broken and defective. So what do you do when you don't want to feel broken and defective? You go the opposite and you try to be perfect on everything, right? And so that led me to that. So those of you, just by the way, that just came in, we have some more people coming in now. This is on perfectionism and procrastination. So anyways, let's keep going. So what does this transition to? Well, it transitions to a lot of beliefs. I'm going to read off. These are beliefs that a lot of people have that I've worked through on care cycles. So I'll never arrive. I'll never be good enough. I have to prove everyone wrong. I'll be forgotten. I'm broken and defective. That was mine. I'll always screw it up. I have to earn my grace. That was one earlier today. I won't be significant unless I arrive. I'm stuck in life and I'll always fail, so why try? I need external pressure because I'm drained. I have to prove I'm better to be accepted and seen as significant. I'll be average if I'm not perfect. If I'm not perfect, people will see me as a failure, right?
There's also, if I'm not perfect, then I'll be rejected. Like I have to be seen as perfect and in all light in order to be accepted. And that could be appearance, and that could also be appearance of the relationship. So like, I know that there's women who literally feel like they have to appear in the perfect. And I'm like, one, that's exhausting even thinking about that, by the way. Like that's totally not my problem. But it's just like, or the relationship has to be like absolutely perfect and can't have a problem at all.
I'm gonna show you guys a diagram here. So let me blow this up. Okay, so this is called cycle of perfect. And the way it starts is at the top. So it starts at, super high demands, all or nothing mentality. Then it goes to fear of failure, which is what procrastination is. So what do you do next? You procrastinate. Then it goes to self-criticism, and with an insatiable drive, focus, flaws, and loss of satisfaction in progress. Then it goes to anxiety and depression, valley of despair, right?
Y'all hit that valley of despair quite often, right? Like in this aspect, in that aspect, like it's where you feel stuck and overwhelmed. Nothing is ever good enough, and I'm a failure. That's where that comes from.
Yeah. It goes to loss of confidence and burnout. This is where I've talked to so many people, a lot of men, where they just, they go to try, they're motivated at first, then they go to like, it's like, why do you procrastinate? Well, the thought of doing the task or doing whatever it is just drains me and burns me out. Like I just so drained all the time. And I know because I was there, right? And so you forget self-care, you push harder and harder and harder, burn the candle at both ends, neglecting everything else in your life. And then you have a greater fear of failure because it's looping now and you're getting to the end of the cycle. And then it's either quit, fail, or win. And regardless of whatever the three, you lose. And what I mean by that is number one, it ingrains a belief here and a stronghold from the devil. Two, if you do win, then people basically, if they do win, then it's not even really celebrated. It's usually like, oh, awesome, like 3 seconds of celebration. It's like, okay, what's next? Or man, I could have did this better, or I could have did,
I must say that comes up more often or not. Like you do something like really great, and it's like, well, I could have done it slightly better, or this, or that, or it's like, that was just the expectation, and I probably didn't even meet it right. I know that there's something I could have done better. Like even if you can't think of anything better, it's like, oh no, I there's something. I just know I missed something.
Yeah, and then this starts over again. Try again, feel the spark, new motivation, new opportunity, new thing. And this is where, so like right here, in between quit, fail, and win, and try again, and high demands, and all those three, this is where, like, for example, and I was talking to somebody earlier today where they had the same thing, where they went through job after job after job after job after job. I used to have jobs before I became an entrepreneur that would last no longer than 8 months. And it was just job after job after job. And then it was just repeat the cycle, business after business after business, failure after failure after failure, right? And it was just that continued cycle. Or even with later on when I did become an entrepreneur, and it was just different coaches or different methods, and it was always, well, this method didn't work, I'm gonna try this. This method didn't work, or this coach wasn't that great, I'm gonna try this coach or this coach or this. That's where people jump coaches to coaches to coaches to coaches. And then it goes to high demands or nothing, all or nothing mentality. I am that type of person where I don't dip my toes in. I'm all in or not, which is not necessarily a bad thing, but it depends on the demands, mindset, and perspective that you have.
I must say it's a lot of it's that mindset, right? Because if it's the fear of failure and you're like, right, and doing those types of things, then obviously like it's a problem. But like being all in, like that's not a problem. Like that's not a problem at all.
It's not problem at all.
And there's a lot of things that you should be all in on, aka your marriage. You should be all in on the marriage, right? Those kind of aspects, or all in on being a healthy individual first. Like that's priority.
Well, we preach ride or die mentality. Like there's nothing wrong with that. But you don't want to be it depends on this cycle. So if this cycle is in congruency with where you're at in your life right now, then that's not a good thing. So there's a healthy version of it.
Oh, yeah.
Let's get out of this and unshare my screen. There we go.
Open chat.
See what everyone says.
Yeah, fear of failure, and it's those aspects that keep cycling and keep looping. And then what does it do when you cycle and loop? Not only are you playing out what's in that diagram, but then you're letting your mind go into like all the bad what ifs. And it's like, oh, man, that's why not even try.
Yeah. So real quick pause here. Who here resonates? I mean, I know Jenna said she does, but who here resonates with that diagram in a big way? Go ahead and drop in the comments, or you can say something or whatever to let us know. I see fingers typing.
I know. I see lots of focused faces. The sign that there's stuff going on.
Loss of confidence, burnout stage, and have total life. And throughout my life.
I have a mess.
Yep. Here you go. I was reading it, then it got pushed down.
Yeah. Travis says, I'm in the loss of confidence, burnout stage, and have total forgot my self-care. Super common. Absolutely.
Good awareness doesn't mean you're a loser, doesn't mean that you're a bad person, just means that you need to be aware of it, and let's fix it. Swing over to informed optimism.
Matthew says, I feel like that cycle happens for me in concentric circles throughout multiple areas of my life daily. It sucks.
You can break the cycle, people.
Yes.
I had it in a very bad way, just as many of you do, and it can be broken.
Yep. And Summers is I'm afraid to share my crafts because I'm afraid people won't like them and they won't be perfect or they won't be perfect.
100%.
And that's the whole, and that's holding you back in massive areas. That's holding you back in so many areas too. And Jesse says, not sure if I fully fit it. Looking back on my past, I know I could have done better. And
Awesome confidence.
Yep. And then it was so bad today that I messed up backing over and over. Yep. So when you get in those looping, you have to take time. Loss of confidence, the loss of confidence and fear of failure, that seems to never go away.
It can though.
Yeah.
You have to stay there.
And I feel like in the past, I pushed myself on being a perfectionist at being a chef because I knew the infidelity I was doing against my marriage. Yeah. So almost like a course correction, like I have to make up for it in this area.
Yeah, that can be definitely a thing. That's not even on here, but good point.
Absolutely. So there's a lot. So you can tell like confidence is massively impacted, especially like on that thought of like, I have to be perfect. And, and it comes out all the time in so many different areas, especially like as, in the area you are in the relationship. And then if you have kids and then on job and all the other different aspects too, and if we in this place were at like, if I weren't if I wasn't past where I used to be today, I would have been devastated, right? Like just trying to fill every role perfect. Cause I did have it in just a different regards than Tommy. I just wanted to be like the best at everything, like the best mom, the best wife, the best at literally everything. I was like, I'm going to be phenomenal in all areas, which I mean, it's great to like want to be that, but you can't beat yourself up when you don't need it, right? Like I can't literally be in 6 different places at once. It's not possible. And it's not possible for you either.
Yes. So the key to this part isn't to beat yourself up. It's to become aware. That's it. But we're going to keep going. So the next thing is, what does it affect? Well, it affects your energy. For one, it can drain you significantly. If you have this belief that I'm going to fail, like basically like if you end up being in a mental space and your mindset, like in a mindset or mentality where I will never hit the bar and reach success no matter what. So you end up with no energy. It's like, why even try? Subconsciously, it's like your body fights against like, why should I even try? I'm going to lose. I'm going to end. Like, it's just, and then you stay in this like, oh, like I'm so drained. Like, and then everything literally drains you. That's like, not everything, but a lot of things drain you to a really high extent. Even self-care, even doing like, even hobbies and stuff can drain you. Like you don't even want to do stuff like that sometimes. So I know because I've been there, but it also affects your relationships.
In like all relationships.
I put relationships, not just marriage, because it affects everything, all your relationships in your life in a dramatic way. And for those of you that done a belief breaker on this, then you know how much it affects everything.
Yes, for sure. All relationships there, like in so many areas.
Yeah, but also burnout risk. You risk burning out.
And it also puts you, like, if you're constantly in this place of like striving to be perfect and then going into that procrastination, it also really puts you in that state of like distracted. Like I'm just like distracted, and can't handle the pressure. And it's just like, it's so much pressure just to like achieve. And so then you end up not actually being even like present because you're distracted by all the worries all the time.
Yep. And don't get me wrong. We're not saying don't strive for next level or amazing things. Not saying that whatsoever. I'm all for next level goals. And always keep pushing the mark, like Paul says. But like there's a difference in perfection and having the intention to hit goals and having your identity attached to the outcome. There's a big difference. So let's keep going though. So distracted by worries all the time and never actually fully present. That's a thing.
Being like, it also costs you on opportunity cost. There are so many things that Summer had even gave a perfect example, like of even just like something in that area of not wanting to, show her crafts or put those things out there, right? Like it's an opportunity cost. Like you lose out on so many different opportunities and not just financial. So it's like financial and friendships. Cause I know so many people like, they're like, oh, I don't want to be judged. And they'll know I'm not perfect and don't have my crap together. So I'm not going to go out to that event. I'm not going to go to that get together. I'm not going to go hang out with those people because then they're going to know that, you know, I have issues and I'm not perfect. So I'm going to just stay home.
Yeah. Also, like, she's just talking about conscious opportunities that you lose out on.
Oh, yeah.
Most opportunities that you lose out on are also subconscious. Like, a lot of them that you don't see just simply because your beliefs are a certain way, and it's like your lens of life, and you just literally do not see the opportunities. Like, they don't even register on your radar anywhere. And so the amount of opportunities that you miss, also, I believe in, you attract certain things into your life, and certain, like, I don't believe in like crystals, energy type of stuff. So bear with me here. I more believe in energy as in you attract what you are, reap what you sow. There's a whole deeper topic, but the basic premise of it is, whatever you are, you're going to attract into your life. Anybody in sales knows this. So like anybody that's ever been in any form of sales, if you have any type of like crap at home going on, or you're attracting a certain type of person, that's why, right? Your mindset. So the point is, you're going to lose a lot of opportunities. You also put an intense pressure on yourself to achieve, but can't handle the pressure because it builds with the outcome attachment.
And it's when you feel like, I just like, I can't take no more. And it's just like too much, right? And it's cave under all that pressure.
Yeah. Paralysis basically is what it is.
And feeling like nothing is ever good enough. This happens a lot. And, you know, even like we had mentioned earlier, like even after winning, it's like, it's just not good enough, you know, and it's that striving, but nothing's going to be good enough.
And don't get me wrong. This next one this is just a reflection of, this does not go away no matter what level you get to in your life with income either. Like, for example, feel like nothing is good enough even after winning. So like, or no, that's not the one I was looking for. Oh, here it is. Have trouble relaxing due to internal pressure. If you don't know what's going on, like when I was at this event in California, I met guys that are doing well over $1 million a year, 10 million a year, 4 or 5 million a month, like insane levels. And one of the things that was a lot in common was this: they always get to another level, but they never are able to really understand how to enjoy it. They can't enjoy it because there's so much internal pressure. It's just like next. So the success line always keeps moving.
I got to hold on to it. I got to do more and more and more to hold on to this and maintain it. Yeah. Is what they end up saying, essentially.
Yeah. Also, another one is never applaud good results, or not for very long anyways. So basically what I was saying is the success line always keeps moving.
Yes. And another big one is like not recognizing progress, right? Like if you're striving for perfection, you don't recognize progress, and you belittle all those smaller things, like the building blocks, like, right? Like as we talk about, you know, taking 5% more responsibility and just growing like in these percentages, you know, when you're not recognizing progress, like all that's diminished like so drastically. It's like, oh, well, it's not perfect yet. It doesn't matter.
Having a hard time moving on, letting go, or getting over mistakes that you've made, it can be an issue, or even others.
I know that was one that I would struggle with, and I would just lay in bed. I know I'm the only one who laid in bed and would just loop conversation or events and be like, that was so stupid. I should have done this or this or this or this, right? And so it interferes with like your sleep, your energy, and all of that, just like beating yourself up over not.
Even the slightest, I mean, this sounds like common sense, but on what it would be here, but self-criticism over even the slightest missteps and things. Also, you know, consistently comparing yourself to others. This is a belief that I came across earlier today from someone, but I have to earn my grace.
That's something that's it's sad, but it's true. People think that. I used to think that a lot too. A lot of people obsess over mistakes; they're unable to let them go,
and that goes into like the looping.
And